Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to dive into one of the most powerful yet totally invisible forces in the entire universe. Seriously, it's all around you, right now, affecting everything you do. So what is this mystery force? Let's get into it.
Think about it for a second. You give a soccer ball a good kick, and it rolls for a while, but it always stops. You're on your bike, you stop pedaling, and you slow down. Why? What's putting the brakes on everything? Well, as this orange is rolling, there's an invisible force pushing back against it, fighting its every move. You could call it the universe's secret brake pedal. And that force, it has a name. And the answer to our big mystery, the force that stops that orange cold, is friction. So let's break down what that actually means. Okay, so in the simplest terms, friction is a resistance force. If you try to slide something forward, friction is the force that's pushing backward. It's always, and I mean always, working against the direction you're trying to go.
So friction is everywhere. We get that. But where does it get its power? Well, it's not magic. It's all about how surfaces touch each other. Let's uncover the secrets behind all that grip and slip.
Even a surface that feels perfectly smooth, like a polished table, is actually covered in microscopic bumps and grooves if you zoom in far enough. Just think of it like a tiny landscape of mountains and valleys.
And this image shows exactly what's going on. When you're on a rough surface, those little mountains and valleys are huge. They lock into each other, creating a ton of friction and making it really hard to push that box. But on a smoother surface, the bumps are smaller, there's less interlocking, and so there's less friction. So much easier.
But hold on, it's not just about how bumpy a surface is. The actual material that things are made of is just as important. Some materials are just naturally stickier than others.
This shows it perfectly. Think about a rubber sneaker sole. It's soft, right? It can actually squish down into all the tiny imperfections on the ground, creating tons of little anchor points. That means lots of friction and great grip. But a hard leather sole? It can't really do that, so it just glides over the top with way less friction.
All right, so now we know what makes friction tick. But believe it or not, friction has a few different personalities. It's not always the same. Let's meet the different types.
Okay, first up, you've got static friction. You ever noticed how it takes one big push to get a heavy piece of furniture moving? That initial moment is you overcoming static friction. But once it's moving, it gets a little easier to keep it going, right? That's because now you're just dealing with sliding friction.
Let's be honest. Pushing and sliding heavy stuff around is a lot of work. The friction is just way too high. But what if there was a way to cheat the system?
And here is the ultimate friction cheat code: wheels. This brings in a whole new player called rolling friction. See, instead of scraping two surfaces against each other, we're just rolling. And rolling friction is so much weaker than sliding friction. It's exactly why this suitcase is suddenly so easy to move.
And last but not least, there's the friction you feel when you're not even on a solid surface. When you move through water, or even just the air around you, you're fighting against something called fluid friction, or drag. It's what swimmers are constantly pushing through and what airplanes have to slice through to fly.
So with all this talk of resisting and slowing things down, you might be thinking friction is the bad guy in the story of physics. But is it really? Let's get into the great debate. Is friction our friend or our foe?
Okay, let's be real. Without friction, our world would be chaos. You couldn't even walk across a room. You'd just slip and slide everywhere. Cars couldn't move, you couldn't write with a pen, even nails would just fall out of the wall. Friction is basically the invisible glue holding our lives together.
But there's a flip side. That same friction is what wears out the bottoms of your favorite shoes. It's why car engines get hot and waste energy. It can cause machinery to overheat and break. It's the ultimate necessary evil.
So friction is our friend and our foe. And that's what's so cool about it. Because once we understand the science, we can learn to control it. We can actually tame this force and make it work for us. When we need more grip, we get smart. We put deep treads on tires. We design hiking boots with super rough soles. And car brakes? Those brake pads are designed to create an insane amount of friction to stop a 2-ton machine safely. We crank friction up to the max when we need it. And when we want things to move easily, we fight back. We use oil in engines so the metal parts just glide past each other. We use tiny ball bearings to switch from that tough sliding friction to that super easy rolling friction. We even shape cars and planes to be streamlined so they can cut right through the air with less drag.
So as you can see, friction is so much more than just a word in a textbook. It's this silent partner in pretty much everything we do, holding things together but also slowing things down. The question for you is, now that you know all its secrets, where are you going to spot friction at work next?